PBA superstars Norm Duke and Pete Weber each have 37 career titles. If they want to get to number 38, they must knock off our number 1 seed, 14-time titleist Chris Barnes, in the finals of the PBA Milwaukee Open right now. Milwaukee has always been one of America's top bowling cities. Its rich history where the sport goes back to 1966 when this bowling center, Bolero Lanes, hosted its first PBA tournament. Today we are back. The Geico Summer Swing continues with the Lucas Oil PBA Milwaukee Open. We have a step-ladder bracket with some of the game's all-time greats. Jason Sterner takes on 4-time titleist Mike Fagan. To start the show, Hall of Fame superstars Norm Duke and Pete Weber await the winners. Future Hall of Famer Chris Barnes is the top seed. Speaking of which, my Hall of Fame broadcast partner, Randy Peterson's lane level with Pete and Norm.
Thanks, Dave. With me, two of the sport's biggest titans, Norm Duke and Pete Weber. Both you players tied for third all-time on the win list at 37 wins apiece. And Norm, I'm going to start with you. You've pretty much accomplished everything that you can accomplish in the sport of bowling. Player of the Year awards, 7 major titles, 37 titles overall. At age 49, what still keeps you motivated?
Him. You know, I didn't think, 10 years ago that I'd ever catch Pete or Earl or Walter, and still the other two are way back. But once I got to Pete, it's kind of been, and I know it's in his mind, it's in mine, it's been a little friendly war. My love for Pete and my respect for him knows no boundaries. So he has kind of reinvigorated me, I think. And
you two have only faced each other on television 3 times.
Is that all?
That's it.
I feel like I've bowled him every game I got on television. 3 times is all? Who won?
I think it's 2-1 in favor of Pete.
Darned. Well, it is what it is right now, right?
That could change today. Good luck. Thanks, Norm. Now, Pete, same kind of deal for you. You bowl pretty much everything. You bowl regionals. Now you're bowling the senior tour. You're still a major factor out here. In fact, having one of the best years of your career at age 50. How do you do it?
I still love bowling. I still love traveling. I still love winning. Bowling's been in my blood all my life. And with Dad bowling until 75, I can't let him bowl longer than me, so I got to keep going.
What do you look forward to most in terms of bowling on television? Is it the possibilities of going up against a guy like Norm Duke?
Oh, anytime you bowl Norm Duke, it's a great honor to bowl him. I'm glad you refreshed my memory on the 2-1 thing there too. But me and Norm always have great matches, so I expect another one today.
Pete, thanks for your time. Good luck today.
Great to hear from the Hall of Famers. As tournament leader, Chris Barnes had a choice of one of 3 oil patterns for the TV finals. He selected the Badger. Our 3 events here at the Summer Swing coming in with the Badger at 52 feet, the Wolf at 32, and the Bear at 40 feet. By far the longest pattern of the PBA Animal Pattern Library. The Badger expect a medium scoring pace today.
The number 5 seed is a PBA Tour champion with 6 PBA regional titles from McDonough, Georgia, Jason Sterner.
Jason Sterner's got a football legend right behind him there, and Terrell Owens, team owner of the Dallas Strikers, here during the Geico Summer Swing. Got a great seat here in Milwaukee. And our first look at Jason Sterner. This is Dave Ryan along with Randy Peterson. Great to have you with us. First ever broadcast of the PBA Tour on CBS Sports Network. Ten-pin for Jason to begin his day.
And it's great to be back working with you once again, my friend.
Been too long, Randy, and this has been a fun experience. Be back in Milwaukee. So many old friends renewing those friendships this week has been really special. There's a 10-pin. There's a mark for Jason Sterner from just outside Atlanta. 5th year pro.
The number 4 player owns 4 PBA Tour titles with 1 major. From Fort Worth, Texas, the Argyle Assassin, Mike Fagan.
I love that nickname. That's unique.
Mike Fagan, he's got a lot of new things going on in his bowling life right now. Biggest signing with a new bowling ball manufacturer.
7-pin stands.
Said there was a lot of added pressure on him because of that. You know, you always want to prove your wealth or your worth rather to the new company, and this is a great way to do it, making a TV show. A ripper 5 into the 7. 52-foot lubricity-laden oil pattern.
Whiffs on number 7. He didn't like it on the release. Open frame for the St. John's alum.
Well, it's really slick, and obviously that spare ball got just a little bit right of the intended target and almost looked like it backed up. And that's how slick and how much oil there is on this Badger oil pattern.
19th career TV appearance for Mike Fagan. Record coming in at 10-16. 4-time titleists. Great looking shot. All 10 down. Recently married to Emily. Congratulations to Mike and Emily Fagan. He's got a pretty famous neighbor there, and Terrell Owens. Got to meet Terrell throughout this summer swing. Made a nice appearance for us on CBS Sports Network. 153 career touchdowns in his great NFL run. 6-time Pro Bowler. Back to the bowling. That looks high, but it's a 4-pin.
Shot. All right, shot.
I really like this game. I think it's a really solid game. Gets the foul line beautifully. He's got great hand. I love the timing, the fact that he gets in front of that bowling ball, make sure that he gets to the foul line before it. I think the other thing that makes Jason Sterner so scary out here is he's got a great mental game.
First career title came this year in Allen Park, outside Detroit. The .299 against Wes Milan in the title match of the Don Carter Classic.
Yeah, he said after the win, he said it was overwhelming, and all the response and the well-wishers, and said he kind of basked in the glory for quite some time. Took his time soaking it in.
You should, right? You remember
Absolutely.
that first title. Oh, not what he wanted there. Had a ringing 10-pin that kept him from a 300 on TV against Wes.
A little inside of target, and even on 52 feet, that ball's not going to hold its line. Jason Sterner's been really good in the 10th frame throughout this competition as well. I was watching bowling the other day, and he was bowling Patrick Allen in match play. And Patrick Allen struck out in the 10th frame to shoot 290. Sterner stepped up in the 10th frame and threw all 3 strikes in the 10th for 300.
Maple Moxie.
I got to get out of that.
Yeah, he's got some of that.
I do too. And just make sure you stay soft with it. And just let your hand go through it. All right, get it over.
He's talking to his ball rep and coach Chuck Gardner. Might make a ball change here.
Help on number 4. Mike Fagan was a Player of the Year candidate last season. A bit frustrating, though, in 2012-2013.
Absolutely. I mean, this game can be very humbling. You know, you can be at the top 1 minute and, you know, down at the bottom the next. So it's, you know, it's important to kind of keep things in perspective. Obviously, I'd like to be at the top every single event, but I know that's not possible. So, you know, it's just about me learning from, you know, mistakes even at this point in my career, and kind of, you know, making the adjustments and getting better.
It was a great season for him. Won the USBC Masters, third in the Player of the Year award race. And this is only his second show of this season, so it's been a big difference.
Every ball in the pocket thus far through 4 frames, just whiffing on the 7-pin, spare in the first, but 3 strikes right behind it. And that's exactly how you want to rebound after you're faced with a little adversity.
It's only Jason's 3rd career TV appearance.
I asked him about his jersey. He said, hey, Falcons colors, baby.
9-pin stands.
9-pin.
Fayetteville, Georgia, about 20 miles away from Atlanta. That's where his home center is. Calls McDonough home.
Kind of hard to believe that you'd see a bowling ball go right past the 9-pin when it's not really curving in the back part of the lane. I mean, you'd see that more when the ball's really back ending really hard, like say on the wolf pattern or something. Something you wouldn't really expect on this pattern.
Jason's dad is here. Open a bowling center. Jim did in the Atlanta area. When Jason was just a kid, Jason told us, boy, he was a bowling rat. From the time he could stand up and throw a ball down the lane, he has loved the sport his entire life.
Jason's a class act too. You won't meet a nicer guy out here. Just a good kid and a really good bowler.
Push.
Not quite enough 4-pin stands for Jason.
He's got a little bit of early hook, which is not allowing the bowling ball to stay on line. Just a little early check. You're not going to see down lane reaction as much as you're going to see it up front, and that one just checked a little bit up front and got it offline and just high enough to leave the 4-pin.
6-time regional titleist, Georgia State champ in 08, and a Youth Masters champ in 2003. A lot of prior winning in Jason's career. And as he told us this week, he lost his exemption in Michigan the year before at Allen Park in the event held there, and to win in that same center the next year to get his first career title was something he will never forget. Ten-pin, Scott won't nudge it.
Now, you didn't see a lot of messengers or scouts on 52 feet of slick oil. You see that pin coming in front of that 10-pin. Just not enough lane left to create a lot of angle into the pocket. These players play what's called a fallback shot when the front part of the lane dries up and they have to move left. It's real old school.
Celebrates his mark. A little sarcastic fun there for Mike Fagan.
I'm going to take a look at the arsenal. He's using a Marvel Pearl, and the numbers are the hook potential of the equipment that he's actually brought to the television pair. And so the 4 bowling balls that he brought with him, it's got the strongest hook potential.
Those numbers out of 10. Crunching all 10 down to the pit, 60 feet to success there for Mike Fagan. That was a good looking ball. And he's got a lead in our first stepladder bracket match. Sterner, Fagan. The conclusion of this match comes up next from Milwaukee City. And beautiful late spring weather here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Randy, let's break down the oil that we're seeing at this Geico Summer Swing and the Greater Milwaukee Open.
Well, I'm going to show you what the wolf pattern looks like at 32 feet. Check out how this ball boomerangs back to the pocket. Lots of friction. But on the 52-foot Badger, that simply isn't the case. This ball's picking up speed as it's going through the pins. And while we went to break, Jason Sterner looking for even more advice, asking some advice from Rick Benoit.
Any ball that wants to tip down lane, whether it's your hand or whether it's the ball, that's why you're leaving it. Okay. Now, I don't know if you have a ball or a hand that keeps it from tipping off of that spot. It's got to be a little bit less than that tip. It can't tip down. Okay, you're playing the right angles, you're doing everything right. You can dial your hand back. If this is a little bit too hard, maybe you can soften that up a little bit.
Okay.
Because I think you're doing everything right. It's just ball motion at the pins is tipping a little bit more.
The strong one seemed to be too quitty, and then the last two shots was a more weaker one that was more sideways that saw it harder. But I'm afraid that's going to force my angles open.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. So we got to create shape down lane, less shape than what you have. And my mind is the ball looks good in the front. It don't look bad, and I think you're doing the right thing. If you can do it with your hand, stick with it. I don't think you go to a ball with more surface, a stronger layout, or anything like that. I think if you can do it with your hand, that's your best bet.
Rick Benoit, a former ball rep out here, and he still coaches a lot of the best players. He was a coach to Chris Barnes for many years out here, and still does a lot of coaching around the world.
Great advice. Chuck Gardner listening into earlier, chipping in with a couple of tips for Jason. 6 frame, first match step ladder finals from Milwaukee.
And I think to simplify what Rick Benoit was telling Jason Sterner, he just needs to make his hand a little bit softer at the release point so that the ball doesn't dig in early. And that's exactly what that shot looked like. He looks like he's just a little cleaner at the bottom. The ball doesn't read early. It pushes down the lane, retains a little bit more when it goes through the pins, and then just shreds the rack. A little less grabby through the release point.
Take the.
Jason pretty coachable from Rick Benoit. Great mid-match advice. So you can build on this strike. 7th frame to go down by 3 pins. Double wood. And the 2-8.
Well, with the softer hand at the bottom of the swing, now comes an adjustment on the right lane because, remember, he was going high on this lane, and now that he's a little bit cleaner at the bottom, the ball scoots a little bit longer down the lane.
Didn't like it upon release for good reason. Leaves 8. Open frame.
And I'm not sure, sorry Dave, I'm not sure why he decided to throw the ball straight at double wood, especially with this much oil on the lanes. All he had to do is move a little bit right with his feet and use the same strike target, and the 2-8 shouldn't have been that big an issue.
Key mistake. Work on strike. Back to Mike Fagan. You can go up by 35 pins here. 10-pin nudged and stands.
Oh, you can throw it better than that, man. Jeez, that was awful. Oh, boy.
There's the king of swing. Pretty nice nickname, and he didn't like this shot at all. And it's not a bad thing when you don't like it and you actually hit the pocket and leave a 10-pin. He missed an opportunity there, Dave. He was working on a strike. He could have increased his lead. Instead, it's just 9 spare, and the lead is now 25.
So not over yet. Mike's certainly in the driver's seat. Norm Duke awaits the winner of this one. And legendary Hall of Famer with 37 titles is the 3 seed. Then there's Pete Weber, and oh, by the way, top seeded Chris Barnes. In our event here today, we are loaded with great talent. Much better shot. His wife likes it.
Good shot here on the left lane. You see that ball just right of the middle arrow. Not a lot of room covered in the back part of the lane, but it's 10 in the pit for the Argyle Assassin.
That's got to be one of the all-time great sports nicknames. Back to Sterner.
Good shot there. Now, let's see if he makes a little adjustment on the left lane. Remember the last time he went light. This is a beautiful shot by Jason Sterner.
Come on, believe it.
Max scores. Really needs it. Oh, doesn't have it. 3-6 standing.
Wow. Trouble on the left lane the entire match for Jason Sterner. The shot before it goes light, he tried to be nice to it at the bottom, meaning not grab it. This time, instinctively, he knows he's got to give it just a little bit to get it to turn the corner. That ball checked immediately, went right through the nose.
Picks up the spare. It's so late in the match to do those strikes desperately. Have a chance to track down Mike Fagan. Foundation frame for Mike, chance to go up by 35 pins. And take real control of this one. To advance on to face Norm Duke.
That's a little better right there.
He liked it for good reason. Mashes all 10 down to the pit. I love it.
You know, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot going on because the bowling balls are going so straight down the lane. But it is very critical at release point, making sure that you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing with the release. In other words, you try to get on it too much, the ball's going to hook early. You're too soft, like that shot. You're too soft at the bottom.
Good thing I got that out of the lane.
The ball's not going to hook at all. The left lane all of a sudden now looks like it's a bit of a problem. This is the first time that we've seen Mike struggle on the left lane. Jason Sterner struggled on the left lane. So we need to keep an eye on this left lane.
It's not the big four, it's the 4-7-9-10. He has wrapped up the match. Kick out the 7-pin to take out the others. But he does win. That was not a pretty finish, but he'll take it gladly. As he knocks off Jason Sterner in our first stepladder final match here today from Milwaukee. Match 2, Norm Duke awaits. Great week, great run for Atlanta's Jason Sterner, but he will fall short of his second career title. Mike Fagan thinking about the nickel. 5 career championships. First, a huge challenge awaits. The great Norm Duke and Fagan square off next.